Pitch on the way to Garvey. Hit high to right center field. Way back. Going. In it. Gone. The Padres win it.
It's time for the 10th inning.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable.
Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field.
Welcome to the 10th inning. I'm Nick Mattos. I host a sports talk show Sunday afternoons 4 to 6 p.m. on KSRO in Sonoma County. And today I'm going to talk about Major League Baseball for the good of the game. I played 2 years of baseball at Stanislaus State. We won 2 national championships there. I've coached baseball for several different levels, Little League through high school. And basically I've been a baseball fan for over 50 years. And I have a couple of concerns about Major League Baseball, and I thought I'd talk about them today on my podcast. Recently, we just had the conclusion of the 2016 World Series, and the games were very exciting. Game 7 was one of the best Game 7s I've witnessed in I don't know how long, and the Chicago Cubs finally beat the Cleveland Indians in 7 games, and in a 10-inning game there, they had a 17-minute rain delay. But the thing that caught my attention was the length of the ball game. The ball game was 4 hours and 48 minutes. And the average length of the ball games were 3 hours and 36 minutes. I've got a real concern about the length of baseball games, and especially with the millennials that are coming up right now. That generation, most of the kids, they got iPhones, laptops, iPads. I just don't think they have the attention span to last 3.5 hours every night to watch a baseball game. And I think I have a solution for this. And I think MLB is going to have to make a decision. And I don't think it's a hard decision. Do you want fans to keep interest in the ball game, or do you want to make money? Now, I think there's a way that MLB can make money and not lose fans. They've tried their darndest to hurry up the game. Now, this year they installed some time limits on pitchers that go out to hold the baseball. They've got 20 seconds in between a pitch. Most of it's not really enforced that much, but they did put a pitch timer on there. So they want to hurry the game up. I understand that. Some pitchers take a little bit too much time. The other thing they did was when a pitching coach goes out to visit the mound, that pitching coach has got 30 seconds to make his trip to the mound, speak to the pitcher, and get back into the dugout. Well, those are all good, but they're really not the problem. The problem is the time that it takes in between innings. When a major league pitcher goes out in between innings, he gets 8 warm-up pitches. Now, the 8 warm-up pitches could take possibly a minute, minute and a half, depends on how fast and how quickly the pitcher gets to the mound to start his warm-ups. Right now, in between innings, Major League Baseball is averaging anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes between innings. You add that up, that's 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes per inning. You've got a 9-inning game. There's right there 80 to 90 minutes that is basically just for ads and commercials. Now, anybody that follows Major League Baseball knows that most of the players are getting quite large salaries, and a lot of those salaries are getting paid to them through the money that the owners make for putting Major League Baseball on television. The ads are expensive. They get paid to the Major League Baseball teams. The Major League Baseball teams, in turn, they're going to hand that money down to the players and to keep their stadiums running. My solution to this is a very simple one. Cut the time in half. Pitchers do not need 8 minutes, more than 4 minutes. They do not need that. 2 minutes is plenty of time for a pitcher to go out there, get his warm-ups, the ball throws around the infield, and we're ready to go. Now, somebody's going to say to me, hey, Nick, what's going to happen with the ad money that they're losing? Well, they're not going to lose ad money. It's going to be a supply and demand type situation. There's going to be shorter commercial breaks, but those commercial breaks are going to be premium. You're going to get people that want to continue to advertise during the games, so they're going to pay the extra amount of money that the owners and the television are going to command for those commercial breaks. So nobody's going to lose here. Everybody's going to win. The managers and coaches are going to get the game sped up. The game's going to be shorter. The fans are going to be happy. The players are going to continue to get their salaries, and the owners will also get their money. So think about shorter breaks in between the innings. I think that's a simple solution that will speed up the game. And, I'm going to add this, and I guarantee you this is something that a lot of the fans that watch the games do. When there is a game on and the games are lasting so long, a lot of people, they tape those games. They put them on their DVR. They come and they watch the game on their own time, and they speed it up and they go through those innings so the ads aren't even seen. If I'm going to be an advertiser and I want to put something on the game, I'm hoping that people are going to watch the game. So my point is this: if it's a 2-minute ad, most people will be okay with that. They'll keep their attention span. They might not try to fast forward it through 2 minutes. I don't know, D-Perk, if you ever try to fast forward things, but sometimes if it's just a short break, it's not even worth fast forwarding it. By the time you've stopped it, rewound it, and found that spot, you're like, okay, I just missed the 2 minutes right there. I just used it. So I think this could work out good for advertisers also. People will not fast forward through the ads and the commercials. They'll get their ads listened to, watched, and that's what they really want. If you're going to spend money to have an ad on a program, you want people to see it and listen to it. So it's a win-win for everybody. Shorten the breaks in between the innings. Now, my next concern is about the strike zone. We see during the playoffs that Major League Baseball has this automated strike zone. They only seem to bring it out during the playoffs, and we all get to see the pitches. They go in through the little strike zone. We can see if it's a ball or a strike. Most of the time, the umpires are right, but there are several times where they're not, and they miss the call. And a lot of times, it's just bizarre because that can lead to a base hit or a walk, and then you look back at it and you say, hey, that pitch was a ball or a strike. It led to some runs. We lost the game. And it's disappointing for fans. And the replay system we have now for bases and foul balls, everything is able to be replayed. And in the era we're at right now with the automation, I believe the next evolution of Major League Baseball should be to go to an automated strike zone. Now, the umpire is going to still stay behind the plate. The automated strike zone will be up in the stadium for everyone to see. So he's not going to be making a call that anybody doesn't notice. It's going to be clear and to the batters, to the hitters, and to the fans. The umpire's still going to have his calls on fair balls, foul balls. He's going to make sure that the pitch count is correct. I think that this is the evolution of the game. Now, a lot of people don't take into account that a lot of the umpires are elderly men. They've been around for a while. They do a good job, but they also have to travel. And if you've traveled like these Major League Baseball players do and how these umpires do, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good night sleeps. You're going to have bad night sleeps. You're going to have good food on the road. You're going to have bad food. My point is this. Take the human element out of the game. We have the technology to make the game better, and that's what replays do. We've installed replays because we want the calls right. Let's take it to the next level. Let's get the calls right on the pitches, on balls and strikes. Now, this is going to help the hitters and the pitchers. You're going to say, hey, how does this help the pitchers and the hitters? Because they have a consistent strike zone. I think anybody that's watched Major League Baseball has seen that so-called umpires have their own strike zones. What do you mean by that? Well, this guy likes low strikes. This guy likes to call high strikes. This guy likes the outside part of the plate, likes the inside part of the plate. Well, every game that umpire is umpiring, the pitchers and the hitters have to adapt to his strike zone. And this can be annoying for fans because they say, wait a minute, that pitch is right in there. He's not calling a strike. And then you hear the announcer say, well, this umpire, he's got his strike zone. He likes low strikes. And that's not good for the game. It's not good for the pitchers. It's not good for the hitters. Hitters need to know what their strike zone is. That makes you a better hitter. Anybody that's played baseball understands that knowing your strike zone and swinging at pitches that are in the strike zone makes you a better hitter. That's why they developed the strike zone. The pitcher has to throw the ball through the strike zone to get a strike. And that strike zone is the ultimate hitting spots for the hitter. Now, conversely, the pitcher, he knows the strike zone. He can nibble at the corners of the strike zone. Good pitchers don't want to throw anything down the middle of the strike zone. They're going to work the lower edges, the upper edges of the strike zone. And if it's automated, they're going to know exactly if that pitch was a ball or strike, and there's no question for them, for the hitters, and for the fans. So I think it's a good thing, and I hope Major League Baseball thinks about installing this. I know that people are going to say, you know what, the umpires will never go for this, and there's going to be a problem. Well, possibly, but maybe not. Maybe umpires will understand that that's going to take a lot of pressure off of the home plate umpire. I don't think there's a harder job than to be a home plate umpire in the Major League Baseball. The pitchers throw near 100 miles an hour. Their curveballs are hard to, if you've seen those curveballs or ever had to stand in against one, you'll understand that curveballs are hard to judge by hitters and by umpires. And the automated strike zone would take a lot of pressure off of the home plate umpire. He's still going to have an important role, and all the umpires have been benefited from all of the replays that we've had starting here on the bases. Everything is evolving, and baseball has to keep evolving. As I mentioned earlier with the millennials, they are used to iPhones, laptops, computers. This is something that generation will have no problem with, and they'll probably grasp it and enjoy it. So Major League Baseball, take note. This is for the millennials, the next generation coming up. My third thing that I think is very important that Major League Baseball needs to address is fan protection. If I'm going to bring my family to a ball game, my kids, my wife, yes, I'm going to bring my baseball mitt. My kids are going to bring their baseball mitts. But you cannot catch a line drive. And what I want to see installed in Major League Baseball is better protection for the foul ball that's a line drive. You can't do it with nets. Nets, they've tried nets, and the nets are okay. They're working behind the home plate. They're working okay. There hasn't been a ball that I believe has gotten through a net, but sometimes it's difficult to see through the nets. I think the best way for Major League Baseball to address this problem is going to be like the National Hockey League has, and that's with plexiglass. A nice, strong plexiglass that will not break on a line drive. Now, you install this plexiglass a certain amount of height above the field, and it needs to go all the way down the line past third base. I'm going to say almost to the foul pole, because we've seen line drives that are hit by these Major League Baseball players that scream into the stands, and if a person doesn't have a glove or is not paying attention and they wear that baseball in their face, which several incidents have occurred, it's completely unacceptable. We cannot have people going to the games and getting injured. And when you buy a Major League Baseball ticket, turn over the back of the ticket. If you never have, please do. And on the back of that ticket, it's going to say that you're entering this park under your own protection that Major League Baseball has no liability if you get injured. Well, that's fine, because we know why that happened. Years ago, before they put that on there, people would get injured at a ball game, and the nature how people are these days and how lawyers are, they don't just sue for the injuries and the doctor bills, they sue for more. Frivolous law. And that's why Major League Baseball had to protect themselves. So my point is this: Major League Baseball, that's fine to keep that on the back of the ticket. I understand it. High pop-ups that go up and over the plexiglass, those aren't the problems. You've got a lot of people that can see those. They can catch them. They have time to move out of the way if they don't want to. It's the line drive. You have to install protection for the fans. I do not want my children to go to a ball game and to get injured at a baseball game. That's an event that is fun for the family, and it can't be anything that's a life-threatening or injury-threatening thing. I believe that is one of the most important aspects of the future of Major League Baseball. Now, if you've ever had a chance to see a Japanese baseball stadium, they've done a really good job of protecting their fans. They don't use plexiglass. There may be some behind home plate, but they use the netting. But they are very much into protecting the fans that are coming to watch the baseball game. So, Major League Baseball, I just gave you 3 things that I believe are the future good for the game of Major League Baseball. Shorten the games, keep the pace of the games up, try to get the games to be 2.5 hours or less. You want to get an automated strike zone, take the pressure off the umpires, help the pitchers and the hitters understand strikes and balls. The fans will be happier. And thirdly, let's get better protection for our fans. We don't want anybody going to a ball game and getting injured. Thank you very much for tuning in to the 10th inning. I'm Nick Mattos. I want to thank my producer, D. Perk, for letting me hang here in his crib. We're going to be back in a couple of weeks. Don't worry, we're not going to wait till baseball season. We're going to talk some NFL football and some NBA basketball. If you'd like to listen to any of my shows, they're all recorded on my Facebook page, Overtime with Nick and Bob. We've got a great administrator, Susie Baldwin, who does a good job of keeping up on all of the professional sports and the local sports here in Sonoma County. I want to thank D. Perk for letting me use his crib here. He's a great producer. And all the listeners, stay tuned. The 10th inning will be back.